The afternoon sun filtered through the curtains of our family home in suburban Chicago, casting long shadows across Mom's polished oak dining table. I sat quietly at one end, hands folded in my lap, watching Lauren sign the final page of the transfer documents with a dramatic flourish. Her designer watch glinted as she set the pen down, her lips curved in a smile that blended victory with that condescending pity she'd perfected over the years. "There," Lauren announced, sliding the stack of papers toward me. "It's official now. Sarah, your little consulting operation is under my management. Don't worry, I'll make sure it thrives." Mom's face lit up from her seat across the table, her eyes shining with pride. "This is so generous of you, Lauren, stepping in to help your sister like this. Not everyone would be so selfless." She reached over and squeezed Lauren's hand. "Family helps family, after all." Lauren nodded graciously, though her tone carried that subtle edge, the one that always implied she was doing me a massive favor. Sarah just isn't cut out for the cutthroat side of business. The spreadsheets, the investor meetings, the real strategy, it's overwhelming for someone more artistic. My brother Ryan leaned back in his chair, nodding in agreement. "It makes total sense. Sarah's always been the creative one, the dreamer. Lauren has the MBA from Northwestern, the finance connections downtown, the experience running teams. This is the smart move for everyone." I took a slow sip of my coffee, letting the warmth steady me. The bitterness of the brew matched the moment perfectly. Dad patted my shoulder gently. "You're handling this with real maturity, Sarah. Admitting you need help isn't easy, but it's wise. Shows growth." "Wise," I echoed softly, my voice calm. Inside, my heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and the weight of 3 years planning. Lauren gathered the documents into her sleek leather folder, her movements efficient and confident. "Honestly, you'll feel so much lighter now. No more late nights stressing over cash flow or client demands. You can focus on freelance gigs or whatever feels right. Let me handle the heavy lifting, proper systems, real infrastructure in my loop office." Mom chimed in warmly. "Your home setup was charming, dear, but a bit makeshift. Lauren's office has the professional vibe a growing company needs." "Growing company?" I asked mildly. Lauren let out that familiar sharp laugh, the one that echoed through our childhood arguments. "Come on, Sarah. I've reviewed your books. Barely breaking even. A handful of small clients. No real scaling plan. It's sweet, but it's more hobby than business. With my network and vision, we can turn it into something substantial." Ryan jumped in supportively. "Don't take it the wrong way. Lauren's professionalizing it, bringing in bigger clients, implementing CRM software. The works. You should thank her." "I am grateful," I said evenly. Lauren's expression shifted to one of gentle compassion. "I know this was your passion project for 3 years, but sometimes our best efforts fall short, and there's no shame in that. Accepting limits is part of life." Mom nodded vigorously. "Exactly. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur." I checked my watch. 2:47 p.m. Right on cue. "So the transfer is fully complete?" I asked Lauren. "Absolutely," she confirmed, patting the folder. "My attorney drafted ironclad paperwork. As of this moment, I have full operational control. Assets, client lists, everything. You keep a small passive share, which is more than fair given the current numbers." "Very fair," I agreed. "I'll start contacting your clients first thing tomorrow," Lauren continued. "Let them know about the leadership change. Reassure them services continue, actually improve under experienced hands." "The clients," I said. "Yes, definitely reach out. They'll be fascinated by the news. Lauren's brow furrowed slightly at my phrasing. Sarah, is that sarcasm? Not all. Contact them. They'll have plenty to say about the change. Ryan leaned forward. What does that mean exactly? Before I could respond, my phone vibrated. Perfect timing. Excuse me, I need to take this. I stepped into the adjacent living room and answered. Sarah Mitchell speaking. MS. Mitchell. This is Director Elena Vasquez from the SEC Enforcement Division. We're 5 minutes out. Confirming the subject has signed everything willingly?
Yes.
She insisted. Actually. Believed she was rescuing my struggling venture. A brief pause. Then a low chuckle. 20 years chasing white-collar crime. And this is a first, voluntary assumption of a rigged entity while the orchestrator observes. We'll make this one for the textbooks. Thought it might be instructive, I replied. They're not going anywhere. See you soon. I returned to the dining room. The family eyed me curiously. Work call? Mom asked. Something like that, I said, resuming my seat. Lauren narrowed her eyes. What work? You don't really have a business anymore, I do now. Right? I said calmly. By design. Dad frowned. You're acting oddly calm about all this.
Sarah.
No pushback. Maybe I'm relieved, I suggested. Like you said, accepting help is wise. Lauren wasn't convinced. Something feels off. What aren't you telling us about this company?
Oh.
There's quite a bit, I admitted. But you'll discover it soon enough. Mom pressed. Discover what? The doorbell chimed sharply. All heads turned toward the front door. Expecting company? Dad asked me. Yes, I said. This is for Lauren. Lauren stood abruptly, smoothing her blouse. For me? I didn't schedule anything. You should answer it. Mom, I advised quietly. Mom approached the door with visible confusion. Through the archway, I watched her open it to 4 figures in dark suits, 3 men, 1 woman, badges flashing, briefcases in hand. Mrs.
Mitchell?
I'm Director Elena Vasquez.
Assistant.
We're here for Lauren Mitchell. Lauren's face went pale. The SEC? Why me? Vasquez and the agents entered the dining room. I'm Director Vasquez. Agents Hayes.
Kim.
And Torres. MS. Mitchell. We need you to come with us for questioning on corporate fraud, securities violations, and related identity matters. Lauren's mouth worked soundlessly. Ryan shot to his feet. This is insane. What evidence do you have? Your sister just legally transferred ownership of an entity under active SEC investigation, Vasquez explained, gesturing to Lauren's folder. By signing, she assumed full responsibility for documented fraudulent activities. Lauren found her voice. Sarah's company is just a small consulting firm. Nothing illegal there. I spoke quietly but clearly. It's not a consulting firm anymore. Everyone stared at me. Mom whispered. What do you mean? The business Lauren just took over isn't legitimate operations, I continued. It's a shell entity I built over 3 years, specifically to expose this kind of takeover attempt. Silence blanketed the room. Director Vasquez nodded approvingly. Perhaps you should walk them through it. MS. Mitchell. Your family deserves the full picture. I stood slowly and moved toward the window overlooking the quiet suburban street, choosing my words carefully. The weight of the moment pressed on me, but years of preparation kept my voice steady. 3 years ago, Lauren attempted to poach a major client from me, a Chicago-based logistics firm worth over $80,000 annually in retainers. She contacted them privately, claimed to be my partner with authority to renegotiate terms, and tried redirecting payments to an account she controlled. Lauren protested immediately. That's a lie. I never did anything like that. I met her gaze evenly. The client forwarded me the emails and call logs the same day. They found it suspicious when my partner couldn't answer basic questions about ongoing projects. When I confronted you, you denied it, accused the client of lying, and told me I was being paranoid and couldn't handle healthy competition. Mom shook her head in disbelief. Lauren wouldn't stoop to that. She's successful in her own right. She did, I said firmly. And it taught me that if she tried it once, she'd try again. So I built a trap, a fake business engineered to appear vulnerable yet tempting. Fabricated financials showing strong revenue from non-existent clients. Polished pitch decks. The works. Legally created, but toxic if misused. Ryan's face drained of color. You set up a fraudulent shell company? Director Vasquez clarified. Perfectly legal to establish the entity. The fraud materializes when someone assumes control and leverages the false records for gain, like loans or investments. Lauren shook her head frantically. This is entrapment. You tricked me into this. Entrapment requires government inducement of a crime someone wouldn't otherwise commit, Vasquez countered. Your sister, a private citizen, laid out bait. You took it freely, no coercion from authorities. I didn't steal it, Lauren insisted. Sarah handed it over willingly. After months of family pressure convincing me I was incompetent, I replied. After you drafted the documents yourself, undermined my confidence at every gathering, and framed it as a generous rescue. That's not gifting, it's orchestrated takeover. I pulled out my phone. I have recordings of every key conversation. Family dinners where you pushed the narrative of my failure. Calls outlining how much better the business would be under you. Single-party consent recordings, legal here in Illinois. Lauren's composure cracked into panic. You recorded your own family? Conversations I participated in, I corrected. Necessary to document the pattern. Agent Hayes stepped forward. Ms. Mitchell, we need you to accompany us to the regional office for questioning about your plans for the entity, your awareness of the fabricated records, intent to use them for financing. Dad's voice was weak. Financing? Lauren. What loans? Lauren stayed silent, her eyes darting. Mom collapsed into her chair, tears forming. Lauren, tell me this isn't true. You weren't planning to borrow against fake numbers? The room hung heavy as Vasquez continued. We have preliminary applications Lauren filed using the shell's inflated revenues. Corporate fraud. Attempted bank fraud. Securities issues, all stack up. Cooperation could influence recommendations. Lauren turned to me, her face a mask of betrayal and fury. You ruined me. Your own sister. Set me up for this. No, I said steadily. I created an opportunity. You chose greed twice. The first time, I let it slide for family. Documented everything this time. Mom sobbed quietly. How could you do this to your sister? Sarah? How could she try to steal from me twice? I countered. How could all of you enable it by dismissing my concerns? Pressuring me without verifying facts. Believing her credentials over evidence. Agent Kim guided Lauren toward the door. Time to go. You can call your lawyer en route. As they escorted her out, the reality crashed over the family. Ryan sank down,
Stunned.
Dad stared blankly. Mom's quiet crying filled the space. Vasquez paused at the threshold. Ms. Mitchell, we'll need your formal statement tomorrow at 9. This operation was meticulously executed, textbook for training. Your patience and documentation are impressive. She addressed the family. Be proud. She exposed a pattern and stopped real harm. The door closed. Silence reigned except for Mom's tears. Ryan spoke first. You planned this for 3 years? Pretended weakness. Let us doubt you. All to trap Lauren? Yes, I confirmed. Justice requires evidence. That's twisted, Ryan muttered. That's accountability, I replied. The hours after the agents left stretched long in that quiet house. Mom eventually rose shakily. "Get out,
Sarah.
you've destroyed this family." Her voice cracked but held resolve. I met her eyes. "I documented crimes. Lauren chose them." Dad finally spoke. "Your real work, what is it?" "Fraud investigation consulting," I explained. "I help corporations and agencies detect internal theft, build cases. 17 successful prosecutions in 3 years. This will be 18. Ryan stared. "We thought you were barely scraping by. You believed Lauren's version without asking for my records, meeting clients, or visiting my actual downtown office." Mom wiped her eyes. "She works in finance. We trusted her judgment. Her MBA didn't make her ethical," I said. "It made her clever about hiding intent." Ryan grabbed his jacket. "I can't stay here. This is sick." Before he left, I added, "You're all on the recordings too. The pressure you applied, the dismissals. The SEC has them. No charges for you, no financial gain, but your role in enabling the coercion is clear." His face reddened. "You spied on us?" "Recorded my own conversations," I clarified. "To prove the full context." Mom pointed to the door.
Leave.
"You're not the daughter we raised." I nodded. "I'm the one who learned family loyalty can't override truth. Learned to document because words alone aren't believed. Learned sometimes justice means building the trap yourself. That's revenge. Not justice," Mom whispered. "It's both when necessary," I said. I left without further argument, the cool Chicago air hitting me as I reached my car. Adrenaline ebbed slowly. My phone showed Director Vasquez's text, "Suspect in custody. Questioning underway. Airtight case. Excellent work." Another message from an unknown number, Lauren's attorney. "Please to drop charges. Resolve within family." I replied that federal crimes weren't family disputes and blocked it. Driving to my real office in the Loop, I reflected on the path here. 3 years earlier, after Lauren's first attempt, I had confronted her privately. She denied, gaslit, and the family sided with her skepticism. No proof meant no consequences. She continued subtle sabotage, questioning my competence at holidays, inserting herself in professional circles. I decided then, if she tried again, I'd be ready. I incorporated the shell entity quietly, populated it with realistic-looking but fake contracts, revenue projections from enterprise clients, made it appear modestly successful, yet struggling enough to seem like an easy takeover target. I shared selective struggles with family over months, missed invoices, client hesitations to build the narrative Lauren amplified. Every family dinner became theater. I recorded quietly, building a dossier of pressure, Mom saying Lauren knows best, Dad urging sign for your own good, Ryan calling my resistance stubborn. Lauren's detailed pitches about professionalizing my work, her drafted agreements, even early loan inquiries she floated hypothetically. The fake financials were meticulously crafted, impressive enough to tempt bank financing but laced with inconsistencies only a deep dive would expose. My real firm thrived quietly. Offices with actual staff, verifiable cases, growing reputation in white-collar enforcement circles. Jennifer, my assistant, greeted me when I arrived. How did it unfold? Textbook, I said. She signed everything. Agents took her in. 3 years of this charade, she marveled. Playing the underdog. Thoroughness matters in fraud cases. Needed proof of pattern, repeated intent. She shook her head. Family must be shattered. Angry, I admitted. They see me as the villain. Was it worth it? Jennifer asked gently. Prevented larger harm. If she'd secured loans on false collateral, banks lose. Investigations drag. Victims multiply. This stops it clean, with evidence for training future agents. We worked late organizing files, 3 years of audio transcripts. Financial fabrications Lauren had reviewed, correspondence. Client statements from the original incident. By evening, exhaustion mixed with quiet satisfaction. In my apartment overlooking Lake Michigan, I poured wine and sat on the balcony. Somewhere, Lauren sat in interrogation, denying still. But evidence didn't bend. Recordings, documents, applications. Mom's voicemail arrived, apologies mixed with pleas to reconsider. Horror at prison possibility. I deleted it. Derek called next accusations. Family loyalty appeals. I explained choices were Lauren's. The moral weight settled. Family bonds tested against integrity. Some crimes demand consequences regardless of blood. The next morning at the SEC offices downtown, I delivered my testimony methodically. Director Vasquez listened intently as I detailed the timeline, played select recordings, presented the fabricated records Lauren had eagerly accepted. Agents asked pointed questions about intent, my knowledge of legality. Everything held. By afternoon, news of potential charges circulated internally. Lauren's attorney pushed for deals, reduced counts for cooperation. Smart move. The evidence left little room for acquittal. Back at my office,
Calls continued.
Ryan, come talk. Fix this before court. I reiterated documentation proved coercion and greed. Mom wept through another message. She's your sister. Prison destroys lives. I responded internally. Attempted theft twice. Family complicity in doubting me. Those destroyed trust first. Jennifer and I prepared exhibits for potential trial. Annotated timelines. Voice analysis confirming authenticity. Financial forensics. The case would educate, highlighting family-enabled fraud. Importance of verification. Risks of unchecked ambition. Evenings brought reflection. Walking along the Riverwalk. Chicago's skyline glowing. I pondered if mercy could have prevailed. After the first incident, distance might have sufficed. But Lauren persisted. Networking overlaps. Subtle professional undermining. Positioning for more. Private resolution failed without belief or accountability. The trap ensured visibility, clear intent, voluntary action, documented pressure. Utilitarian greater good met personal necessity, ending victimization. Lauren's plea negotiations progressed. Likely 2 to 4 years federal time. Restitution. Career end. Harsh, but proportionate to attempted scale. Family texts accused manipulation. I replied once. Question why evidence was needed at all. Why my truth required a trap. Silence followed. Weeks blurred into pretrial motions. Lauren's team attacked on entrapment grounds, motion denied swiftly. As no state action induced crime. Recordings proved voluntary overreach. I testified again. Facing cross-examination stoically. Recordings played publicly in hearings. Family pressure exposed. Mom and Dad avoided eye contact in the gallery. Ryan left midway. Lauren took a plea. 3 years. Heavy fines. Permanent finance restrictions. Sentencing left her reputation in ruins. Career over. Post-sentencing. Mom reached out once more. Partial acknowledgement of past disbelief. Lingering resentment at my methods. I wished healing but stood firm. Justice transcended comfort. At my firm, we celebrated the 18th case quietly. Clients praised the precedent. Director Vasquez invited me to guest lecture at training sessions, using anonymized elements of the operation. Alone on my balcony again. City lights twinkling. I sipped wine reflecting. The operation succeeded but fractured family ties permanently. Was the personal cost justified? Greater good prevailed, prevented fraud escalation. Trained investigators. affirmed victims' right to evidence-based resolution. Yet the question lingered: when family betrays, does self-preservation through calculated exposure cross into something darker? I turned off notifications. Content that accountability held, even across bloodlines. Some principles, honesty, consequence, outweighed loyalty when trust shattered irreparably. Tomorrow, another case awaited. Justice. Built piece by documented piece.
Continued.